All right, let's get right into it. We're about to explore one of the most jaw-dropping events in our planet's history. I'm talking about a time when an entire sea just vanished.
I mean, think about that for a second. What if an entire sea just disappeared? It sounds completely impossible, right? Like something straight out of a movie. A body of water that huge, just gone? Well, believe it or not, this isn't science fiction. This really happened.
Yep, the Mediterranean Sea. The very same sea that cradled ancient civilizations, that's teeming with life today. Well, 5.6 million years ago, it was a bone-dry, desolate wasteland. The big question is, how in the world does something like that even happen?
So this incredible event has a name, of course. Geologists call it the Messinian Salinity Crisis, and what happened was basically this. Tectonic plates shifted and they slammed the door shut between the Atlantic and the Mediterranean, right at the Strait of Gibraltar. With no new water coming in from the ocean, the sun just went to work, and over time it baked the sea away, leaving this massive, empty, salt-crusted basin. And the scale of this whole thing is it's hard to wrap your head around. All that evaporated water had to leave something behind, right? And it did. A mind-bogglingly huge layer of salt. We're talking about a salt giant, as scientists call it, stretching over 1 million square kilometers. In some spots, that salt layer is up to 5 kilometers thick. It's literally the scar the vanished sea left on the face of the Earth.
Okay, so let's try to paint a picture of what this world was actually like. Let's dive into the details of this great salt desert and exactly how it formed.
Now, the really cool part is how we figured this out. By studying the salt layers, scientists now know this didn't just happen all at once. It was a two-step process. First, for about 35,000 years, the sea was only partially blocked off. So water was still trickling in, but not enough, and the whole sea just got saltier and saltier and saltier. Then came phase two. For the next 10,000 years, the connection was totally cut. That's when evaporation went into hyperdrive and the seafloor started to emerge, even creating a land bridge between Europe and Africa.
Just try to picture that for a moment. The water level dropped by up to 2,700 meters. That's almost 9,000 feet. The bottom of the Mediterranean became this vast, deep desert, far below global sea level. It would have been one of the lowest, hottest, and most alien landscapes on the entire planet.
So, you might be wondering, how can we possibly know this in such detail? Well, the Earth keeps a record. This right here is a salt mine in Sicily. See those incredibly fine layers in the salt? They're called varves, and they're like tree rings. Each one of those delicate lines marks one single year of salt building up. It's an annual diary of a world without a sea, written in salt.
And this is where it gets really wild. These layers aren't just a record of salt, they're a climate archive. By studying them, scientists can see the fingerprints of ancient climate cycles. Things you hear about in the news today, like El Niño, or even the 11-year sunspot cycle, they're all recorded right here in this salt from millions of years ago. It's absolutely mind-blowing. It's a time capsule that proves the basic rhythms of our planet's climate have been ticking along for a very long time.
But you know, an event this catastrophic doesn't just change the landscape, it has a massive, devastating impact on life itself.
Just look at these numbers. Let this sink in. Of all the species that lived only in the Mediterranean, almost 90% gone, wiped out completely. The sea went from being this vibrant cradle of life to a toxic, salty death trap.
We're talking about entire worlds that just vanished. Beautiful tropical coral reefs, they disappeared from the Mediterranean and have never come back. So any kind of complex life like fish or corals was pretty much toast. But the basin wasn't totally empty. In that super salty, oxygen-starved brine, certain types of microorganisms actually thrived. It must have been a truly alien planet down there.
And when the water finally did come back, things didn't just snap back to normal. Not even close. It took at least 1.7 million years for life in the sea to recover its richness. It's a pretty stark lesson in just how long the scars of a major ecological disaster can last.
But this wasn't the end of the story. The age of the Great Salt Desert was about to come to a spectacular end, and the finale was somehow even more dramatic than the beginning, with a flood of truly epic proportions.
So about 5.33 million years ago, it happened. That rocky barrier at Gibraltar, the thing that had held back an entire ocean, it broke.
and the Atlantic Ocean came roaring back into the empty Mediterranean basin. Geologists call this the Zanclean megaflood.
And calling it a flood is, well, it's a huge understatement. At its most intense, water was pouring in at a rate of 100 million cubic meters per second. To put that in perspective, that is 1,000 times more powerful than today's Amazon River. 1,000 times. We're talking about a force of nature that is just almost impossible for us to imagine.
The speed was just breathtaking. The sea level in the basin was shooting up by more than 10 meters, that's over 30 feet, every single day. Imagine standing on a hill and literally watching the ocean rise up to meet you. It's just incredible.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. Dr. Aaron Micallef, a lead researcher on this, calls it an awe-inspiring natural phenomenon that dwarfs any other flood we know of in Earth's history. The sheer power of this water carved out massive canyons on the seafloor that we can still see with our technology today. So once the floodwater settled, what was left? Well, it wasn't the old Mediterranean. It was something entirely new. This event was basically a giant reset button for life in the Mediterranean. The old guard was gone. The new sea was instantly populated by creatures pouring in from the Atlantic. In fact, about 2/3 of the species were completely new to the area. The handful of old survivors were now sharing their home with newcomers like great white sharks and oceanic dolphins, animals that helped create the marine world we see there today. And it all happened so fast. In what is just a blink of an eye in geological time, we're talking a few months to maybe 2 years, the Mediterranean was basically back. This insane flood didn't just refill a basin, it created the sea that would become the cradle of so much of human history.
The whole story is just a powerful reminder that our planet is constantly changing in ways that are almost too big to imagine. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other unbelievable stories like this one are buried deep in the Earth's past, just waiting to be discovered?